And so, why would she leave your ship if it never sinks? While she's watching other ships out there sink all around y'all. You see, women just want to be safe, man. That's all. So you have to understand these are some keys here. Stop believing that you cannot be perfect. Stop believing that. All things are possible. You have to believe that all things are possible because he said they are. So for you to not be perfect would mean that's impossible for you. Well, God says all things are possible through Christ, which is going to strengthen you. Now, where's Christ? You got to know he in you, bro. I know y'all be listening to the grandson. Y'all be like, man, he be going in. He be spitting harsh language and cutting real deep. It's because you must know that at this moment. Because nothing else going to save you, you see. That is how we are redeemed. That is how we see Christ again, is when we realize that he's inside of us. Now our sorrow is gone. Our tears are dried up because we realize where he is again. If a man keep my saying, then the Father and I will make our abode with him. So wherever you live at, your address is your abode, correct? You'd be like, welcome to my humble abode when you open the door. So when you open your door, Christ and the Father, he said, comes inside of your body and lives where you are, which is inside of that body you live in. You're not the body. You live in there. Abba and Christ want to make their abode with you. That's the only way you can live, brother. That's the only way you can see salvation, is to open your door. He says, open up and let me come sup with you. That's what he say. So all you got to do is open up your door. All men on this earth, from all the four corners of this earth, open your hearts today and say, Father, not some name of some God somewhere that's not personal to you. Your Father who created you and made you and sent you into this world, like a father who sends his seed into a woman and creates a child. He sends his seed into the world. The world is the woman's egg. Once he gets inside of it, it sparks a new world, a new child. That's you sent into this world. Yahushua said, I have sent you, just like my Father sent me into the world, I have sent you all into this world. And y'all ain't of this world, so don't marvel if they hate you, brother. You have to know the truth, and when you know the truth, it sets you free from having to chase things. Let them chase you now, because you are the value. What is more valuable on this earth than man? You tell me what it is. Because without that man on this earth, we can't have none of this shit we got. I have the privilege right now of sitting right next to two buildings being built. So there's two construction crews building two buildings right where I'm sitting right now. And there are all men doing it, not a woman in sight. And I'm not being dramatic. They are all men. So-called black men, so-called white men, so-called Mexican men, all working on the crew together to bring something to fruition. So can't we see that if we all put our hands together, black, white, brown, yellow, purple, as they say, green, whatever, mankind, if we all put our hands together, we could do wonderful things. If we put our hands together under the banner of I am, all of us, couldn't y'all just understand that simple truth? When ants get together, look at what they can do. When bees get together, look at what they can build. And you're telling me that men can't get together and build the kingdom of heaven as one? Of course they can. Of course we can. So it's about time that we stand up and accept our positions as elect men called to inherit the new earth. Isn't that what's written? Y'all that were cast out in lowly and meek souls, humble, you are very misunderstood, brothers, because of your humility. And when you stand on the truth, that looks like pride. Even though in order to stand on the truth, you are actually submitting yourself. And the more submitted you are to truth, the more powerful man you are. That's simple. Christ is the head of man. So if man submits himself to his rightful head the most, more than any other man, won't he get blessed the most? Won't Yahusha love him more than the other ones? Won't he say, the one in whom I loved, who I hold in my bosom? Won't he do that for you? So don't be scattered anymore. The reason why us as true men, as one tribe, we were one tribe at one time. Guys, one nation, on one love. And we got scattered all over the earth. And when we sang those songs of one love, one nation, we were around tares that hated us for that. We weren't around our brothers anymore. And we sang our songs and we said, why won't they feel me? Because they tares. Your brothers are far off from you now. We were scattered. And the reason why that happens is because we were scattered within, looking for a thought that we could hang on to. Okay, this is good. Then we try it, it fell us. Okay, now this is good. Then we try it, it fell us. Okay, this is good. And then we try it, and none is good but Abba Yah. Know that today. None is good. This man talking to you, the flesh man, is not good. There is none good but Abba Yah. Say it again, church. There is none good but the great I am. Say it. And in him we shall find our redemption. Brother, when you feel anything in your body off, turn it on. You hear me? You turned it on with your words and your thoughts. You are thought. You direct, so direct it. Okay, let's see. My shoulder a little sore. Ache a little bit today. Okay, my shoulder is perfectly healed. My shoulder is the best possible condition it could ever be in. And then you'll just be walking, you're thinking that and saying that. You'll just be walking through life, then all of a sudden, this pretty woman will walk up to you, and you're in the grocery store, you're like, hey, how you doing? She's like, how you doing? You're like, what you do? You look nice. What you do for a living? She's like, I'm a physical therapist. You're like, you're kidding me. I woke up with an ache in my shoulder you wouldn't believe. Would you be able to do something for me? Man, that girl start rubbing on your shoulder and clicking your stuff into place, man. Next thing you know, you don't have that pain no more. That's how Abba Yah work. But you have to know that's how it works so that when it comes into your life, you can recognize it. So that when the miracle comes, you can take advantage of it because of your faith. You're looking for it. You don't have any evidence that it happened, but you're thinking and feeling it. And so because you're thinking and feeling it, you're looking for the evidence of the hope of the things not seen. See? Evidence not seen. But the thing hoped for, get this shoulder straight. And then by her hands on you that Abba placed in your path, your hands got straight. And you might have found a new wife. Double blessing. That's what I call it. And the people around me, they know that. I say, a double blessing you will get if you do this. Anybody I teach this truth to, that's what I tell them because that's the truth. Because you did what Abba Yah said do, he will give you a double blessing for it. I'll give you guys an example of what I mean. Remember I told you guys I was going through a divorce. Back when I was in the world, before I was delivered and made into this new man I am today. The old man was married, had children and everything. Well, when I got divorced, that old man got divorced. The I that I was, my ego man, see? When he got divorced, his wife was pregnant at the time with their youngest son. So they were having a little bit of discrepancy about him being there for the birth of the child and whatnot. Well, she ended up birthing the child in the hospital. Text the man and said, the baby's here. You can come see him if you want to. Well, the man was having aught with her family. So his desire in his heart was that he would be able to go see her and the child without any interference from anybody else. He would go there, see her, the child, speak the blessing over the child's life, and then go on his way peaceably. So what the man did is he went for a walk that day. And he visualized in his mind, his thought of him walking in there, seeing the child, seeing his mother of the child, seeing the mother of the child, seeing them peaceably, talking to them, smiling, laughing, saying the blessing over the child, holding the child, loving the child, and then going on his way. He saw that over and over in his mind. He did this from about 10:30 in the morning till about 6 o'clock in the evening. He got the message about 6 o'clock in the morning. So it's been about 12 hours later. He's been doing this in his mind as he's been walking, and then he came back and went about his day getting dressed and doing other things. He still was doing this in his mind over and over and over again. He kept doing it. Well, finally he gets to the hospital about 6:30. He walks in the hospital. Now he's physically doing what he's seen in his mind. He goes up to the room, he walks in, and guess what he sees? Her and the child there alone. And he sees the evidence that there other people have been there, but they're not there. So, remember, Abba's going to give him the double blessing. This is the point of why I'm telling you this story. So the man goes in, he has his peaceful moment. She gets up, gives him the child, says, "Thank God you're here because I have to use the bathroom so bad." It's actually what happened. She goes into the bathroom to use the bathroom. He's holding the baby privately to himself, loving on his new baby, saying the blessing, the words over this child's life like he planned in his mind. Everything is happening according to plan. She comes back out of the bathroom, the mother, they sit down, talk. They are actually laughing like nothing wrong has ever happened in their life. They're laughing and talking about this baby and how beautiful he is and how he looks like their other son and what is he going to be like and bobbity-bibbity-lee and his name and this, that, and the other. Well, while in the midst of them doing this, having this moment with this child, the grandfather comes in. Her father comes in, which would be the man's father-in-law, comes in. Now remember, this is in the midst of a divorce, in the midst of a smear campaign against the man. She has smear campaigned the man to her father and everybody else, has told many lies about this man. So the man don't know how the father-in-law is going to feel about him, see. They've always had a good relationship, but since the fallout, he don't know how he's going to feel. He hasn't seen him. And he owed him $3,000 in debt. When he was losing his house, his father-in-law loaned him money to try to keep his house and so he had time to move his things out and get his family situated before they took his house. His father loaned him the money. Well, he did pay him back. Dropped it off in his mailbox in 2 money orders, $1,500 money orders apiece. Dropped it off in his mailbox. Too ashamed of himself because of the divorce to face him, so he just dropped it off in his mailbox and left. But he did pay him, like he said he would. He told him he would pay him, and he did. Well, this is the first time he's seeing him since then. The father-in-law comes in, shakes the man's hand, hugs him, says, "How you doing? Are you doing okay? How you been?" Compassion in his voice, love in his eyes for that young man. The double blessing, because he didn't know that man was going to come do that. Check on him, show him compassion, no hard words. He asked me to take he asked me to take a picture of him and the grandchild and his grandboy. He was proud. He said, "Take a picture of us." Double blessing. When I went on to go leave, he stayed there with his daughter and his grandson. I went to go leave and let them have their moment and go on back to where I was. And I went to walk out that door, and he turned and he said to me, my father-in-law, he said to me, Mr. Strong is his name. He said to me, "Take care of yourself, young man." And I said, "I will." And that's the last time I've seen him, her, or that child. Justice is his name. My son. My son. Justice is his name. Justice La'el, the justice of God, is his name. So I got the double blessing of the peace and the father-in-law who I was fearful that I had let down and ashamed that didn't take care of his daughter. When I asked for his daughter's hand, I sat in his living room and I shook his hand and I said, "I'll do my best to do right." And I had failed, and he didn't hold it against me. He hugged me. He shook my hand. I respect that man to this day for being the kind of man that he is. despite suffering great hardship as well. I know his story of his own children and his wife divorcing him and him losing his children as well. So for him to sit there with his daughter, who he was estranged from, and hold his grandson, I'm sure was a blessing that was so large for him that it didn't matter what was going on. Abiyah makes the impossible things possible. Do y'all know? Well, I can't. Y'all won't know this, so I'll just tell you. That man I'm telling you about, Mr. Strong, my father-in-law, his daughter, she had a child before her and I were married. She had one son. When she was pregnant with that son and had that son, she refused to let him see that son because they were at odds. So his first grandson that he had from his daughter, he didn't even see him until he was 3 years old. That was the first time he saw his grandson. So this time his grandson is born, he gets to see him the day he's born. Despite what I'm going through. So all praises, Abiyah, for your vindication, for your grace, because there is nothing in this life more joy than for a grandfather to have his grandson sit on his knee. It's no greater joy. So brothers, I say persevere in the hardships that you've been going through, knowing the outcome. Once you know the outcome, then you don't sweat the drama. You don't. You learn to embrace it for the glory that's going to come. Anybody who wants glory go through hardship. Y'all know that. You know it. The boxer we see standing up there being undisputed with all the belts around his waist, we didn't see all the sparring matches. We didn't see all the black eyes. We didn't see all the teeth he might have had knocked out. We didn't see all the times he might have had a broken nose or a broken rib. We didn't see all the times he had boxing fractures in his hands and broke his hands. We didn't see all the times he had surgery on his arm, on his shoulder, on his eye. We didn't see all the time he was practicing shooting jumpers in the gym. But we see him when he holds the trophy up, as if that's all he ever did was hold the trophy up. No, he did more than that. So Abba allowed him to hold the trophy up. And he's going to do the same thing with you. He says if you overcome, you shall obtain a crown of glory. Crown of life. That's better than any crown of gold that you can see with your 3D eyes. I would rather have a crown of eternal life on my head. That when someone asks me, how old are you? I am eternal. I'm ageless. Shall be my answer, and it be true, because if a man keep my saying, he shall never see death. You know how we say as kids when we used to be sweet at someone, used to say, you can't see me. We score a touchdown, we be looking at the defense like, you can't see me. That's what we got to be with the devil and death. You can't see me. I'm set apart from death, called out of it. And so are you, brother, if you are of the elect. So hold your head up today and persevere the hardship, the trials, for the greater good, for the greater blessing. And if there must be wrong that must be suffered, then take it on, knowing that you will receive 100-fold for your sacrifice, brother. I've had to let precious things go, beautiful children. That is the hardest thing, and I've had to let those little hands go. For the greater good, Abiyah's justification of my life. It matters more to me that he says I done well than my own son says I was a good father, or my daughter, or my wife says you were a good husband. It matters more to me that Abiyah says I have been good. And I've been faithful of a few things. Enter in. That's all that matter. That's all that matter. Sometimes we forget that. And we think that thing in front of us matters. Our life won't be fulfilled unless we taste, touch, or handle that thing. But he says what? Taste not, touch not, handle not. And that's hard sometimes. I know it is. I know it is. We've all had that moment, and I use the woman because there ain't nothing more attractive than the woman is, man. So for us brothers, we've all had a moment in our life where there was a woman attracted to us for one reason or another. Doesn't matter. The fact was she was attracted to us, and we thought she was out of our league. Shit, it has happened to us. That's to allure you to find it valuable, to chase it because you think it's more valuable than you are. I told you, you have to reverse it and say, wait, hold on a minute. I'm the prize. I'm the prize. I build the world. She just decorates it. If I don't build something, she ain't got something to decorate, do she? So it starts with me, not her. So why am I chasing her? She need to be chasing me. And what does the scripture says, my brothers who have found yourself being by yourself like a monk, living like a hermit for a while, which is good, make you strong. But you won't always be like that. You're going to have your family and your tribe, your glory that you're going to be able to stand and look at your house you built with your hands and look at your wife and your children and your help that's around you and your servants and your handmaidens who are all blessed and happy to be with you, to be around you. You're going to have yours. It's written. Look at Job. It seemed like he lost it all, but he gained double. So it's the same for you. It seemed like you lost it all, but you gaining double. You see? So don't sweat it today, brothers. Y'all keep your head up, all right? Peace and blessings unto you all in the name of I am. Be blessed in power and in might and in soundness of mind and in soundness of body and in strength of masculinity, in thought and in feeling. Be blessed today. Shalom.